Today we'll be looking at some of the scariest and most haunted places from around the world, ranked according to their chilling history and unexplained phenomena. Prepare to be spooked by stories of ghostly apparitions, paranormal activity, and eerie legends that have captivated and terrified visitors for generations. Starting off this countdown, we have the Bell Witch Cave. Located in Tennessee, this is a farmhouse that was owned by a man named John Bell in the early 1800s. Him and his family lived there, but began to see strange things around the property. One of the things that they would see would be a dog with a rabbit's head. John's daughter Betsy was the one that was often attacked by a bunch of unseen forces. Other weird things that happened around the house were that they would hear chains being dragged throughout the house, gulping and choking sounds, and scratching at their bedposts. Finally, after months of tormenting the Bell family, the entity actually spoke to them. Turns out it was their former neighbor, Kate Batts, who was actually a witch. She was the spirit that was tormenting them because she had it out for John Bell. She wanted to kill him. She never admitted why, though. She was also attacking the family because she wanted to stop John's youngest daughter, Betsy, from marrying another neighbor. Over the next 3 years, Kate tormented the entire family daily. She would even cast spells on John from her grave. As time went on, John actually grew weaker and weaker. Now, I don't know what John did, but whatever it was, this woman was tormenting him from beyond the grave. So I'm thinking it was like an affair. I don't know. Coming in at number 9, we have Hotel de Salto. Hotel de Salto first opened in 1928 in Colombia and was very popular among tourists as it was close to the Tequendama Falls. However, as years went on, they realized that the water at the falls was actually contaminated. Tourists gradually lost their lives in the area and the hotel wasn't getting the numbers like they used to. In the early 1990s, the hotel was abandoned, and now it's said to be a very, very haunted place. Apparently, over the years, a lot of people have taken their lives at the hotel and near the falls. So people are actually convinced that this area is cursed, and if you go there, something about it will lead you to take your own life. And at number 8, we have St. George Church. Located in Czech Republic, this church was first built in the 14th century. Now, it was actually a pretty popular church until the 1960s when the roof collapsed over people during a funeral. People took this as a bad omen, and since then, it's been abandoned. Legend goes that the church is haunted, and so an artist created the church as an exhibition based on that. Inside of the church are now 32 life-size cloak statues of ghosts with their heads bowing down. This is terrifying looking. So someone literally was like, hey, this place is haunted. You know what? We should make it look haunted by putting these creepy statues around to scare everyone. No thanks. I'm good. And at number 7, we have Patari Prison. Before becoming a prison, this building was a sea fortress in the 1840s. Then from 1919 to 2002, it was a penitentiary used by the Soviets. And it had a pretty notorious reputation as being one of the scariest places in Estonia. If you enter the building, you will find Soviet telephone books, old posters, and a creepy hospital room with sharp medical tools and blood-stained blankets. In fact, this operation room is said to be the most haunted location in the whole building. The room is filled with odd-looking machines and rusted beds with straps on them, and everything is blood-stained. Now, people that have dared to enter this abandoned building have said that when they were touring it, they felt like they were being watched. Others have felt as if someone was lurking right behind them, following their every move. What's worse is that there's an execution room where the prisoners would kneel down with their head against the wall and would be shot at the back of the head. The bullet holes are still in that wall. And at number 6, we have Dawson, New Mexico. Dawson was an area known for its mining. At the start of the 20th century, about 2,000 people lived in Dawson. Then in 1906, the mines were purchased by the Phelps Dodge Corporation. But on October 22nd of 1913, a terrible explosion occurred in the mine and around 263 miners were killed. Then, 10 years later, on February 8th, 1923, another explosion occurred. 123 miners were killed in this explosion. The mines remained open until the 1950s when they were deemed to be unsafe and they were finally closed. Shortly after, the area was abandoned. Now, if you visit Dawson, all you will see are rows upon rows of white crosses representing all the lives that were lost in these terrible accidents. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with the Devil's Hole. With a name like that, you just know it's going to be spooky and maybe you shouldn't go there. So the Devil's Hole is located within a national wildlife refuge in Nevada. You could tour the area, but access to the Devil's Hole is off limits. They have a sign and fence guarding the area, and the sign reads as so. Due to the scientific importance of this area and its fragile nature, unauthorized entry is prohibited. So they want to protect the ecosystem there, but also it's very deadly. So Devil's Hole is a little hole of water. When you dive in, it's filled with complex underwater caverns. Back in 1965, one night, a group of 4 friends decided to hop the fence and explore Devil's Hole. It was Paul, David, Bill, and Jack. Jack was on the lookout while the 3 dove in, but Paul never resurfaced. As a result, David and Bill both went to look for them, but then David never resurfaced. To this day, their bodies have never been found. And at number 4, we have the Bolton Stid. The Strid near Bolton Abbey is said to be the most dangerous stretch of water in the world. Now, just by looking at it, you'd be like, how is that even dangerous? I mean, the current isn't even that fast. But below the water's surface are strong undercurrents that will toss you back and forth against the sharp, jagged rocks until you die. It's also fairly deep and it could suck you down until you drown. In fact, it has a 100% fatality rate. Anyone who has ever fallen in has died. These bodies have never been found. Now, there are a number of stories of people trying to leap across the river only to slip and then fall in. In one case, there was a newlywed couple visiting the Stride. However, upon trying to cross it, the bride fell in and the groom fell in also trying to save her. Of course, they never made it back out. And their bodies, again, have never been found. And at number 3, we have North Sentinel Island. I'm sure you all have heard about this island by now, but the reason why it's so dangerous is because there's a tribe that lives on this island that they will kill any and anyone that comes near them. They live in their own life completely isolated from the rest of the whole world. In fact, they still live hunter-gatherer lifestyle. But a man named John Allen Cho believed that the power of God would be able to convert them to Christianity and help them, for he believed that this island was Satan's last stronghold on Earth. So in November of 2018, he decided to head on over to this island, even though people were like, you shouldn't, you're stupid. So the people that took him there knew the dangers and really didn't want to go there. They were later then arrested for even trying to bring him there. John's first attempt at making contact with them didn't go well. As soon as he stepped foot on the island, several men came charging at him, flinging arrows, so he fled. But then on November 16th, he was determined, and so he tried again. He got a fisherman to drop him off alone, and that was the last time anyone had seen him alive. When people went back there to look for them, they saw the tribe dragging his dead body along the beach. In our second spot today, we have the missing owner. So this place is actually a really haunted place in Houston. So in 2017, a couple moved into a house in Houston. Apparently, the place had been empty for 2 years. The previous woman living there just randomly vanished without a trace and stopped paying the mortgage. During the investigation to find the woman, they found her dead cats in the house. But they didn't find her, so they put the house up for sale. Well, guess what? The couple that moved in there, they started getting really bad vibes from the house. Later, while doing some construction, they found bones inside the walls of their house. So some believe that the owner was actually killed and then stuffed into the walls, while authorities deemed that she fell through a broken attic floorboard and became trapped in the wall, which makes no sense because they showed the crack and it was too small for anyone to even go through. So it's still pretty suspicious and creepy, and apparently haunted by her, so don't go. And in our number 1 spot today, we have the Sally House. Now, this is actually a pretty famous haunted house that is in Kansas. And it's said to be the home of where an actual demon lives. And the demon takes place in the form of a little girl named Sally. So in the early 90s, Deborah and Tony Pickman began renting this house. That's when they started to hear unexplained voices, their lights would flicker, and they would see apparitions. Sometimes, strange scratches or burns would show up on their bodies. They blamed this on the ghost of a young girl named Sally. The former renter's daughter even claimed that they have seen and heard Sally too. Later, it was found out that a satanic ritual took place in their basement and it released this demon who now takes form as this little girl. All right, folks, that's all for today's video. Let me know in the comments below. If you had to go to any of these places, which ones would you go? While you're leaving a comment, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to my channel for more spooky content. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan. Stick around for some bloopers, and I'll see you when I see ya. Bye. Located in Tennessee, this is a farmhouse. Blah, blah, blah. This woman was tormenting him as it was close to the Tequendama Falls. Hotel de Salto first opened in 1928 in a no. And at number 8, we have St. George. No. Now, it was a really popular church actually until the 1960s. No. And it had a pretty notorious reputation. Nope. And it had a prettiest. Nope. Now, some people have actually went into this abandoned building and have said that they have felt like they have been up. What's worse is that there's an execution room where the prisoners would kneel down with their head. And now, if you visit Dawson, all you'll see is rows upon rows. No. So the Devil's Hole is located within AHS Meadow National Wildlife. So the Devil's Hole is actually located in a national wildlife refuge. And at number 3, we have North Sentinel. So in the early 90s, Deborah and Tony Pickman began renting, not renovating.